Yo! Okay, so welcome to Overfarmed. This is a relatively new game. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if it's new. Hold on, let me check. I found this game in my recommended, and it's fairly. Oh, it was created like a few months ago. It was made. It was made a few months ago. So this is Overfarmed, and the main premise of this game is over farming yourself. And there I haven't really seen people make videos or talk about this game too much, and I like it. So why not make a video on it? Essentially, how this game works, you get spawned on here, and instead of all of these that you see on the screen, it's one singular square of plot, and then you slowly build up until you get, you reach the maximum. And I'm gonna keep playing to see if they're gonna add more updates or more areas so that you can buy more land. But for now, I've reached the far maximum. So, first of all, when you're starting out, do not make an automatic setup, okay? This is not what you need when you're starting out, and I realized that really quickly. Something you should do first is just buy a shit ton of land. Just go over to this area, land, and then you can zoom out. And then what the fuck? Why is there an empty area there? Hold on. The thing you should be buying mainly from this area is land. Don't buy this water. Don't buy this fertilizer. This is a good area you can buy from too. But whatever you do, do not do not buy the water and fertilizer. It will waste your money. So when you buy land, you can get more area to plant more crops, and you can build more stuff, right? And so I'm gonna use this area for example, right? In the crops menu, you can plant whatever you want, whatever you need, and I already want all of them, but you'll start off with the wheat. And so a trick you can do on PC, you can essentially just put down a single wheat and then press P. Oh, there we go. What that essentially does, what P does, it automatically plants for you, right? All right, there we go. It's planting for me. And so there's different keybinds, right? P is to automatically plant crops in an empty area. L is to automatically harvest crops that are already 100%. And yeah, P and L. You don't need this crazy ass setup that I made over here. You can just keep spamming P and L, and you'll keep planting and harvesting crops over and over. Secondly, these XP generators. You can see it's the tier 3 XP generator, but when you're starting out, do not buy the tier 3 or tier 2. I recommend just buying a shit ton of land, and then half of it you're spamming the tier 1 generator. This generator is the holy grail. This generator is essentially the best for beginners because it's only $350, yet all of the other tiers are practically the same, just a little bit better than the other, right? Tier 1 does 1 XP per 12 seconds. This is like a 1 XP change for 2 seconds extra. And this one is a 3 XP change for another 2 seconds extra. If you just spam a bunch of tier 1s, I guarantee it will be better than getting tier 2 or getting tier 3s. It's just not worth the money. But if you already did play this game, and you're like halfway and you're watching this video, you can still delete these tiers because each buildable item is 1-to-1 refund. That means that if you put something like really expensive, like 35,000, you put it down, the refund is still 35,000. So you will get your money back and you will not lose any money. Secondly, the planters, the harvesters. So what I opt for is this checkerboard style. This is reliable for me because this tier 2 is getting this whole 8x8, oh no, 3x3, and then the harvesters are getting each side, and then these tier 1 auto planters are just tier 2, tier 1. You can put anything here, but I picked tier 1 so that's cheaper. But you can obviously use tier 2 if you want it to not look awful like mine. I'm too lazy. And then harvesters. The thing is with harvesters, right? When you get to tier 3, right? When you put a tier 3 harvester, I'll highlight it in the video, but what you're getting is this 5x5 radius, right? And the tricky thing about this is that it's gonna be one off from the planters. It's never gonna be the best, because if I put if I replace this harvester, for example, with a tier 3, right? First of all, it's 15k, so it's like one gazillion times more expensive. And look at this now. If I highlight it on the screen, it's this area, and then this planter goes to this area. You see the problem? This harvester is never gonna reach the other side of this, let alone a tier 3 auto planter. And you're gonna have to waste more money on another harvester on the other side. And I suppose tier 2 harvester is better. The reason why I use the tier 3 over here, contrary to what I said how the T3 is kind of awful, it's because these corner plants cannot be harvested with T2s. Because if you can notice, if you put a T2 here, it only gets this area. But this T2 can only get this area. You see the problem? If you have a T2 in these blocks, you can only have these areas taken. And these two farmlands is, cannot be harvested. And if you're AFKing, I don't think it's that much of a difference, but I'm not wasting my money, So yeah, these T3s get these blocks. And there's a reason why I put these XP generators in behind these harvesters is because you can't really put a planter here unless you put like a T3 planter. But I think I like the XP generators this way. Next is gonna be the planters. I don't think tier 3 is that worth it also. Here's the thing. The more the planters are gonna have a wider range, the more harvesters you're gonna have to put. And it's gonna be really bad because the farther the harvester you need, the more expensive it is, right? That's why I picked this setup. There is another block you can use, and it's called the sprinkler. The sprinkler, it's basically like the water over here. This water, I haven't really explained to you because it's useless, but the water and the fertilizer, what they do, it speeds up the process of the plant's growth, right? And there is no buildable block for the fertilizer, but the sprinkler is just the water, right? And I say the water and fertilizer is useless and a waste of money because it makes so little difference. Yes, it will make your growth speed faster, but from what I see is that it'll be better off if you just wait for it to grow. It's only like what? Like less than half a minute. Just not buy the sprinkler and don't buy the water and the fertilizer. I hope in the future maybe they'll buff it. Maybe they'll make it, make the sprinkler somewhat usable so that it's helpful for proer players. Lastly is that I'll tell you about the land and the plants you can buy. So essentially, land, yeah, it's so that you can place down buildables and you can place down crops, right? Number one thing you should genuinely just buy, and make sure you don't buy the land recklessly. You need to buy land in a square formation so that you can make your checkerboard style right, usable, or easy to build. And secondly, crops. You can buy crops in this little area. It used to be called Lucy's Crops, I think. But yeah, you can go over here and you can buy crops for each tier, and each tier is gonna cost a certain amount of XP. And to get XP, of course, is from the XP Generators that I showed earlier. And buildables, it's gonna show you each like a higher tier, tier 2, tier 3 buildables. And the skins is a crop skin. It's optional. You don't have to buy it. I think you should buy it last, but you can buy it whenever you want. It's kind of cool. For the people who wanted my farm layout, I'll zoom out and you can see it. It's essentially just diagonally T2, T1, T2, T1, T2, T1, T2, T1, again and again and again. And then the harvesters are all T2s except the ones in the corners. Then you'd have to alternate some T3s over here too. You don't have to use T3s on all of them. You can of course alternate also T2 and T3 because this already gets this already gets this. So this T2 is just not gonna be that better if it's a T3. I'll zoom out once more. Here, maybe I should put something here. Sorry guys. This is my setup. And finally, maybe I should add is crop prices. There's this mechanic which I find interesting. It's called the crop market. So cool, am I right guys? And what it essentially does, every hour or so, the crop market is going to be different, which means the crops you buy for each tier is gonna be the same price when you plant it, but when you harvest it, it's gonna be different prices. You're gonna have different rewards, right? So wheat is gonna be the base crop, and then apple tree, potato, and parsnip is the same tier, but obviously one of them is more expensive, which is the parsnip. It's $51, and that's a very high price for beginners to be getting, since that's more than double than apple tree, right? Even if apple tree and parsnip is the same price when you plant it, the harvest is 100% gonna be better for some crops. It's gonna continue with different tiers. Orange tree, tomato, and blueberry bush. It's only slightly higher for blueberry bush, but in some crop markets, of course, it's gonna skyrocket, right? And the conflict that you're gonna face when you're doing automatic farms like these ones is that when you focus on one singular crop, of course, it's gonna have some good crop market days and it's gonna have bad crop market days where it's gonna be really low on the crop market, and you probably would have gotten better if you chosen a better one, which is why I have, in my solution, I alternate them. Since it's 3 different crops per tier, and I am using the limited items crops right now, which is hell fruit tree and jello cluster and jello worms. I alternated them. As you can see, if I click on them right now, this one is jello worms, this one is jello cluster, and it's different for each one. So in my solution is that if all of them alternate, then you're gonna have a decent price. Not the best price, but also it's gonna be better than, the same crop for each one. If you get what I'm saying, guys. What I'm just saying is that if you cover all crops, then you're gonna be guaranteed getting the best crop, even though all of them aren't the same. For anyone who plans to play this game, please do. It's a good game. It can be a little buggy sometimes, or some things could be a little bit weird or glitchy. Just note that this game is new, okay? And so far, this game is pretty fun for what it is. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys want me to clarify anything, comment down below. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.